Hey guys, it's Lloyd from Wing Magma here. How are we all doing? I hope everybody is well. I wanted to do a little video to kind of explain to people what Memory Holes, my song, is all about. And I thought if I was to tell people where the song came from, not necessarily what it's about, but certainly what it represents to me, people might be a little bit more interested in it. So I had a couple of ideas as to how to go about doing this. I was going to try and set up some sort of podcast or something like that, but I don't know, it felt a bit weird, just like asking one of my mates to ask me a bunch of questions. Just interview me, please. It just seems a little bit, I don't know, the whole social media itself is very self-absorbed, but I thought, I don't know, this felt, at the time it felt like the right thing to do, whether it is or whether it isn't. Who cares? So, Memory Holes. So Memory Holes started, I think it could probably date back to, it's probably about 10 years old, I should think. Maybe even more than that, might be like 11 years old. So anybody that knows the bands that I've played in, I used to play in a band called Public Relations Exercise, and when that kind of caved in, 4 out of the 5 members of Public Relations Exercise started another band called Bronze Age. We were relatively slow to write songs at the time. I think we were very, very self-critical, and anything that, you know, kind of went through the gauntlet had to be of a very, very high standard, whoever's standards they were. So a lot of things got scrapped, or a lot of things didn't even get started, and I think Memory Holes was one of the songs that I had around that kind of time, so 2008, 2009 kind of time, because we split up early 2010, so and like I say, it was one of those tracks. It's in a strange tuning. It's somebody recommended a tuning to me that Trail of Dead use, so it's C, G, C, G, A sharp, D sharp. It plays like a very ambiguous open chord. So the first couple of chords from Memory Holes are literally just open strings, and I fell in love with that tuning. I absolutely fell in love with it. A couple of PRE songs were written in that tuning, and so like Chairmaid, 11, I can't remember if there were any other ones. And I think Memory Holes was me trying to kind of crowbar that tuning back into Bronze Age, but it just never really happened. Got poo-pooed or whatever. So yeah, it's got some. So the music has been kicking around for a very, very long time. I had recordings of it when I lived in my flat in above Saw Point in Leicester. Was the first recording I had of it. And straight after Bronze Age, Martin and I kind of were like, well, what's next? It was the idea of not being in a band at that point was very, very foreign. So Martin and I started writing songs together, and that was the first one that I brought to the table. So there's recordings around somewhere with Martin drumming, and he played the bass. And I've tried to kind of ignore his bass line, because I just wanted to move away from it, but it's just such a great bass line. So it's the bass line that's still there now, was Martin's doing. So that was kicking around for a while. And then, so the band that Martin and I were, or the songs that we were writing at that time, we started to get more people involved. So we got Mike Love involved, and then Ed Judowski got involved, and Jay Marlowe was involved for a while. And we started Laser Beast. And Jay was with us for a few rehearsals. I'm pretty sure Memory Holes is one of the songs that he played. But then we just started to get heavier, so Memory Holes just didn't fit anymore, because as we got new people involved, you know, in the writing process, people's characters and personality has just kind of changed. So it started being less mine and Martin's thing that that Ed and Mike were a part of, and it was just what we sounded like collectively. And Laser Beast became very heavy, very pulled apart by horses kind of stuff, and went on and did its thing. And then we did that for a couple of years, and Laser Beast split up. And then that was the first one Laser Beast split, and Lily, my daughter, was very young, and I was just kind of getting used to the idea of, well, perhaps this is what happens now. You know, you kind of, I'm a parent, perhaps my priorities completely changed in terms of, you know, what's important, what do I want to do. I was kind of more focused on my career and building my family life and making sure that was all intact, and, you know, writing music and being in a band just started to fall down the list. And then, but I still wanted to write, and I still wanted to put music out. And I was, you know, the house that I moved into, there's like a converted garage that has been a studio ever since we moved in. The people that lived here before us, I think he was a drummer and he soundproofed it and stuff like that. So I've always kind of, I've been writing music in that for a long time, in that studio for a long time, and Memory Holes kept coming back into the mix and then just going away and coming back and going away. And probably around, I don't know, 2014, 2015 maybe, I asked Ed, the Laser Beast drummer, if he would record some drums for me, and he did. You know, I sent him, recorded some takes, sent it to him. He lived in London at the time, so he had a recording set up. Played the drums, sent it back, and I thought, all right, cool. At least I've got the drums sorted out, because I think even I tried playing on it at one point. So I had the drums sorted out, put my guitars over it, put the bass line back over it, and then it got to singing. Now, singing's always been a little bit of a tough point for me. Like, it's not that I don't know, it's just something that I've just really lacked confidence in. I had to really push myself to do backing vocals in PRE. There was a point where Tiernan and I were lead vocals in Bronze Age, and it just, I don't know, it was always hard to sing in a band when I was in a band with Martin, because Martin was always an incredible vocalist. So I currently have got somebody with that much range and that much character versus, you know, I can sing in tune, but I don't know, I'd struggle to say that my voice has got anywhere near as much character as Martin's, but anyway, so I always just kind of shied away from vocals and lyrics. I mean, like, lyrics have been a very personal thing, and I've always found it difficult to not just write lyrics, but to share lyrics, because a lot of the time, like, I know you don't just automatically become good at something. So whenever I was, you know, writing songs when I was, you know, a teenager and felt that I was going to change the world with my music or whatever, I'd come with lyrics to band practice and they would just get torn to shreds. I'd bring more lyrics, they'd get torn to shreds, because at the end of the day, they weren't very good. It wasn't that I had mean friends or anything like that. It's just, your friends are honest, you know. So, like, my lyrics weren't great, but then anytime I shared them and they got kind of torn apart, you just become a little bit more wary about sharing them, to the point where I just didn't. And I was just so self-critical. Like, I would just, without sharing my stuff with anybody, I'd tear shreds off it myself, you know. So, and that's kind of what happened with Memory Holes. So, like, and I'm going round the houses with this, but what Memory Holes kind of represents is, it's not really about the things you say to yourself, but it certainly represents what can happen when you change the things that you say to yourself. You know, if you tell yourself you're rubbish, if you tell yourself you're no good, that's what's going to happen. You know, you're not gonna move anywhere if you're gonna keep choking yourself down. So I recorded some vocals. I've had pages and pages and pages of lyrics for this song. I've tried all sorts of different melodies, different tunes, because originally what I didn't want the vocal line to follow the same melody as the guitar line, because I felt that was cheating in a way, because there was a melody there. It was just like, well, that's obvious, you know, like, why go for that? So I tried all sorts of different things, and what I used to do, I'd have a recording of it on my headphones, and I'd go walking the dogs or whatever, and I would play it for hours and just kind of hum and sing and, you know, write down a few little lyrics here, there and everywhere and try and piece something to it. And then, it's not really middle eight, but the second verse, which is on the version that's about now, I had that bit. Oh God, I've had that for years, but I forgot about it. I recorded it, and it was on a hard drive along with those drums that Ed gave me, and it went on a hard drive. That hard drive went in a cupboard, and I didn't see it again, and I forgot about it. I couldn't, you know, I'd cleared space on my Mac and then put it on this hard drive, and then lost the hard drive. So fast forward, like we've tried it in bands post Laserbeast. So Martin, Mike, and I tried it again a couple of years ago. We were kind of trying to get something together. Writing wasn't really happening, so I was just like, oh, I've got memory holes. You know, we never really gave that the light of day. So I brought that back, and we started getting somewhere with it, but like, I don't know, the band just imploded again, you know, and it's just, and then I started to say to myself, you know, I've had all of these opportunities with that song. If it hasn't happened by now, why would it happen? You know, there's a reason why it's not happened. Perhaps it's not good enough, or whatever. It just it didn't come to pass. So then, you know, lockdown happened, and, you know, I wanted to be productive with the extra time that we had. And I've got a bunch of songs kicking around. The same kind of thing that's happened with Memory Holes. You know, I start things, I just get to a certain point, and, you know, if I wanted to write music for an instrumental band, I would have albums worth of stuff. I've got loads of it, but it's just always something that felt unfinished with all of the songs that I've got. And I've always wanted to write songs that I can sing and perform on my own. I've always wanted to do that. So it's just kind of, I've got all of this, how do I put it? You know, writing music has never been, it's not that it's a challenge, it's not that I find it easy, I'm comfortable doing that. That's probably the best way of describing it. You know, like I was always quite happy with my guitar playing, quite happy with the music that I wrote in any of the bands that I was in. I quite enjoyed it, quite cool with that. But like I say, when I get to that singing part, not so much, and certainly not my lyrics. So lockdown came about, and I was picking up all of these tracks. I started talking to Andy Coles. So Andy Coles and I have written a few pieces of music together, and I was starting to dig those things back up. And then Memory Holes came about again, and I was messaging Ed Jadowski, and just I said, have you still got those drums? He's like, no man, they're ages, they're gone, long gone. And then I just went hunting around for that hard drive with the drums on, and I found it, and on there were these drums from like 5 years ago, and then there was this verse, and I was just like, that sounds pretty decent. Like, the lyrics were pretty good, the singing was in tune, and I was just like, shit, like, I get to a point where, and then I just leave it and I just sack it off. And I was like, that song could have been finished if I just would have persisted with it. That song could have been finished a good couple of years ago. So I thought, right, if I don't do it now, I ain't ever going to do it. With this extra time that we've got in lockdown, I'm just going to keep doing stuff. I'm going to keep pushing myself into an uncomfortable environment, because I want that outcome. I want to have a song that is mine, that is finished. I want more songs. I want albums worth of stuff. But to get to that point where I'm comfortable to release my music, isn't isn't straightforward as I thought it would. It should be quite easy, but it's not. It's a struggle for me. Like it's not easy. It's anyone that can just rock up, write a song. Fair play, guys, because it's not like that for me. It really isn't. Music, cool. Like I say, I've probably going around in circles, but that takes some work. And I just kept pushing and kept pushing and kept pushing, and then I had all my parts, I did all my backing vocals, and I was just like, that's it. I've got my song finished, and I started to mix it. Now, mixing is an art form that always eluded me. Like, I went to university to study music technology, like most guitar players my age that ended up doing that, rather than get a job, just kind of did that. And the recording process, I still take a lot of joy from setting up microphones, getting things right, getting the sound how I want it, playing, recording. There's something that's still incredibly exciting about that, even now. Mixing, I have not got the patience for it. It's so complicated. It should be easy, but it's not. Everything sounds like ass, and it's just like, nope. Just no. So like I was talking to Spencer, the public PRE guitar player, and he was kind of going to be mixing stuff for me, but he's doing his own thing, and he's got a family as well, and we started collaborating with things like Memory Holes and one of the other tracks that I'm working on at the moment. But then, like out of nowhere, Dave Tidmarsh put a message on Instagram, so it's saying if there's anybody that wants to collaborate during lockdown, get in touch. And I just saw it said to me, so like I worked with Dave, and Dave worked with Laserbeast. So when Dave was just cutting his teeth in recording bands, he put an advert out, and same as he did this time around. He put an advert out, and I think it was on Pinapster or one of the Leicester Music forums. He put a message out saying any bands that want a free recording, get in touch, because he's looking for studio experience. So we got in touch with Dave, went out for a few beers with him, clicked almost instantly with him, got on really, really well, had a decent rapport with him, and we went to his studio in Syston and set up camp for the weekend and recorded like a 3-track demo with him, which turned out to be the Laserbeast EP that we did. Had not heard from him since, not really been in touch other than a few, like Facebook messages here and there, but not seen him since. Still not seen him, like, we've been in lockdown. But he put that message out on Instagram, so I just kind of reached out, and so I said, look, I'm working on something, shall we see what happens? And he was like, yeah, send it over. So I put about, a gig and a half's worth of audio onto WeTransfer, sent it over to him, and he started messing about with it. This is before we'd even talked about, what it costs or anything like that. He started messing about with it, and he sent it back, and it was just like, oh my God, those drums sound amazing. What have you done to those drums? And he's just taken all the recordings that I've either Ed did probably in his house or in his bedroom, of his drums, I've done in my garage, and he's just took them and made them sound like an actual song. It's just like, shit, this could be good. This could be decent. And from then, when I got that first mix back, it took on a completely new form, and it was just like, right, okay, I want to throw everything at this. I want to have a name. I didn't want to release it under my own name. It just feels a little bit dull, I guess. It's just, I don't know, that found a name, and like there's no one to argue with. This is one thing I quite like about doing this on my own. Is making decisions is so much easier. You know, I might make the wrong decision, but you know what? Like, I'll learn and I'll move on. This the best way to learn is, you know, getting things wrong. And yeah, and if it feels right to me, then I'll do it. And you know, so I mixed it. It sounded great to me. Sorry, I didn't mix it at all. Let me take that back. Dave mixed it. You know, I gave him my pointers. Sounded great. Put it out basically, and that was it. I made a video out of stock clips that I'd found. Put that on YouTube. Paid for distribution. Got all of that sorted out, and it was the rest of it was all kind of just all happened. But for me, it's just that what the song it's not what the song is about in terms of its lyrical content, it's what it represents. And it represents to me a mental victory. I beat my mind, and my mind, you know, anybody that knows me, and you know, I know mental health is very, very topical, and I'm not trying to hop on any bandwagon or anything like that, but I've had my struggles there, and it was around October time that I decided to see a doctor and, you know, try and talk this through. And I don't think it's a coincidence that I'm having a stab at this now, and I'm winning these things where I would beat myself up and I'd beat myself down mentally, and I would give up and I would just walk away from recording sessions and lyrics and everything. I feel mentally capable to push through that now. Do I wish that I would have figured that out when I was 20? Yep. Big time. You know, I'm 37 now, and it's just, I feel like, you know, there's a good chunk of my life that I've, as far as to say I've wasted, but I've certainly delayed longer than I needed to, because of just the way that you talk to yourself, and the things you tell yourself, and what you end up believing about yourself. It's horrible when you think about it. Like, just what tricks your mind plays on you. And literally just telling myself that doesn't sound that bad. Not everybody is going to hate this. I'm sure there's going to be people that don't like it. I mean, I'm not like, it's been out for a month or so now, and I'm not like quit my job or anything, but for me, it's not about what people think anymore. It's about what I think, and I'm comfortable with it, and that is huge for me. Like, because I've been so uncomfortable with my music for such a long time. So to get to that point, that's what Memory Holes represents. I think there might be little pieces where that feeling has kind of crept into the lyrics, because there were certainly like holes, excuse the pun, but there was gaps in the lyrics that I filled in with just kind of whatever came naturally. Like, whenever, like, if I was recording a take, I'd kind of be driven by the tune, and whatever words fit that tune without me really thinking too hard about it. That's kind of what stuck. So subconsciously, I think there's a bit of that in there, but I certainly never wrote a song about mental health or any mental struggles or anything like that. It's not really about that. It's just, I try to take snippets and pictures and put that together. But like I say, it represents. It's very special to me. It's very empowering. It's a very positive song for me. And I genuinely thought, like, once I got the first one out of the way, the others would be just as simple, but it's not. I've still got a lot of work to do with this. So I'm working on my second track at the moment, and I've sent all the files over to Dave, and I've been working on the vocals, and I've just been working. It's still not still not easy, still not fluid, still not particularly comfortable. Hopefully I'll get there, because like I don't want it to take so long. Like I've got music ready to go. I just need to get those lyrics and the vocals sorted out. And like I say, and have my own expectations and my own level of quality that I need to reach, and not some invisible, unattainable, external measure of what's good and bad that's not even real, if that makes any sense. I feel like I'm rabbiting on. But hopefully that's given people a little bit of an insight to the song. Hopefully you might want to give it a spin. And if you've got any comments, get involved. I'm trying to up the social media. I'm trying to be a bit more present, trying to put more stuff out there. I've not scripted this, or not rehearsed this. This is just all kind of come straight off the top of my head. As I'm sure you probably can tell. But yeah, get in touch, guys. Like, I'd love to know what you think. Yeah. Take care of yourselves, and speak soon.